yours up as well? Are you putting it in? I can do it right
It's up just now. I'm just going to put it in. Cool, and then I'll tell everyone to go.
So, I'm actually happy I've got this laptop. Well, it's mostly just for work. It's so much easier than doing everything on my phone.
Yeah.
Evening, Hartman. It's nice to have you here. Welcome. It's time. Who's ready for round 2? I certainly am.
Hello, Rick. And hello, Lifebout. Want to get underway in Imola. Oh, why is QB's car taken? Who has taken QB's car?
Oh, crying out loud.
Alpine.
We're gonna have to reset.
No, it's fine. It's just one car. It's no big deal.
Okay. Cool.
Anyways,
good evening, everyone, and welcome back to APPF1 Tier 2 for tonight's dose of racing action. I'm Sumo, your commentator for this evening, and joining me, as always, is the 4-time sprint champion, Ghost. How you doing, buddy?
Hello there. I'm looking forward to a good race. We had a good one around here on Friday in Tier 1. It should be good in Tier 2 as well.
Yeah, it's looking good. We find ourselves at Imola, of course, for a race at this incredibly historic circuit that is a hard to overtake track and a thrill ride to drive. Imola will see our drivers tackle 4.959 kilometres with 17 corners that include 4 tricky chicanes that will separate the champions from the chaff. This circuit will be a suitable challenge as we head into round 2. Any thoughts, Ghost?
Yeah, it's a very tricky track. This is can be very easy to get wrong, and very easy to just make a mistake and go for a spin in the race, especially. And sometimes it can be difficult to even get a quali lap together. So we'll have to see if our drivers are up to the task today.
Yeah, certainly so. Last time out in China, Pommy Alex won the race after 3 safety cars and a late period of rain. LB is not too far behind and is looking like a favourite for the Drivers' Championship thus far. Red Bull secured P2 and P4 in China, which will see them lead the Constructors' Championship as they look to pick up where they left off. Any insights, Ghost?
Well, let's have a quick look at the stats for this season so far. Well, I think the main thing to watch is that our championship leader, Pommy Alex, isn't here today, unfortunately. So he's going to lose a lot of points today to his rivals, the likes of LB and perhaps SW, although SW will likely be leaving for Tier 1 midway through the season. Perhaps Tier could get involved, although his DNF is really going to cost him from last time out. JBS Steve, I think, is a dark horse. He could do really well this season and really challenge LB at the front, I think.
Yeah, certainly. So I think there's a lot of strong contenders in amongst the pack. It's really going to depend on whether people can make all of the races and whether our drivers can really make the most of what is a short season. We had 14 rounds last time out in Season 3, but now we've got just over half of that, which is 8 rounds. We are in round 2, of course, right now, as TTV Max starts its lap. But before we ride along with the Mercedes, I will just have a quick shout out to our sponsor tonight of Positive Perception Media Design Products. If you like seeing cool livery designs, both in the sim world and in real life, then please do go over and check out all of Positive Perception Media Design products, socials, and show them all the love and support you show us over here on Tier 2. They really do appreciate it, and we appreciate you showing them support. But anyway, we'll get back to qualifying now, with TTV Max has validated his lap time. Very easy to do on this circuit. So we ride on board with Scott Rowley in the Alpine, who I don't think is on the lap, although he might be actually.
I'm riding on board with Muhiti for now in the Alfa Romeo. He had a good race last time out, actually. I think it's his best result in Tier 2 ever. He came he came 6th. I think maybe he's gotten a 5th or a 4th at some point, but it was a really good result. It's certainly his best qualifying ever of P4. So I think Muhiti will be hoping for big things today as he comes down to the chicane. He won't be the first person to set a lap, but he is going to be one of the first.
I think he will be the first, actually, as Scott Rowley has validated his lap time, so he's coming down toward the Ravazzas now. Ravazza 1 and 2, the final 2 corners of this Italian circuit. Tommy Alex has said if everybody could DNF, that'd be great. Fingers crossed, as Muhiti goes at 16.1, that's a decent lap time. With Tier at 16.7 on the medium tyres. So the lap time's coming in thick and fast at the moment. Is Mr. J-Man coming across the line for a lap time? He is a 20.7, not too fast on the McLaren driver. He will have to come out again for sure. How about JBS Steve? Gets himself up into P2, just a 1/10 of a second away from Muhiti, and about 2/100ths of a second off of the time of Stingray. Yes, Stingray. That's what I'm looking at.
I think it's all going to depend on...
Oh,
there we go,
15.6.
There we go. I think pole is going to depend on whether Madman Ollie Oliver wants to go on the softs or not, because he's obviously just reserving this season because he can't make the Tier 1 races, and he's been given special permission to be able to reserve in the Tier 2 races as long as he races cleanly. So he's here, he's P6 for now on those mediums, only 6/10 back, so we can see how much pace he does have, and if he wants to go on the softs and take pole, I'm sure he would, but it's whether what he wants to do, really.
Yeah, certainly. I hope Tommy Alex will be happy at least someone's representing the other Ferrari, as they've got some decent constructors. Reserve drivers don't score for the Drivers' Championship over here at APPF1. They have their own little reserve table going on, and I think Madman is firmly the top of that reserve table. As Krauser makes his way through Acqua Minerale up that tricky traction zone, which I can't remember the name of the next corner. It always escapes me, this one. I'm going to have to look at a track map in a minute, but down towards Ravazza comes Krauser, the other Red Bull. The Red Bull looking like favourites for the Constructors' Championship, of course. Looking for a good run out of Ravazza. You really need to try and focus on exit of both of those corners, and it's looking like a decent lap for the Red Bull. Could challenge his teammate, perhaps not. Got a bit ahead of myself as a 16.9 for Krauser as he goes P9.
Our newbie today, Femi Frostmaster, he's in P10 at the moment. Decent first outing, just about beating Captain Nibs to the top 10. But look at TTV Matsuno in P3 right now. Only 4/10 off pole. He's the ever-improving youngster, and we could be seeing big things from him today.
Yeah, certainly so. He's definitely in with a shot. TTV Max, he's prone to a mistake or two as Scott Rowley goes into the barrier at the. It's not Villeneuve because that's the next one. That's the Tamburello, I believe. Tamburello chicane. But yeah, TTV Max is very fast on his day, but he is prone to mistakes. But I think there's plenty of time to be found out there on the track at the moment, and for sure TTV Max might find himself in the 15s. But I think if Madman comes out again, he'll have something to say about that for sure.
Hartman as well, the ever-improving Hartman, it seems, as well. He's done a lifebout this season. He was sort of mid-grid last season, and struggling to get get himself near the podium. Last race he could easily have had a podium, and this race he's only 7/100ths of a second off pole. So Hartmann is not playing around this season.
No, he certainly isn't. I think he was one half of the championship-winning AlphaTauri team with our last season's champion Tinos, and he's coming across the line. I think he's going into the pits. Actually, he's not setting a lap time yet. I'm sure he'll be setting a couple more of those at the moment. We're just waiting for Scott Rowley, who's invalidated. QB, who's out on a lap now. He's coming through Tosa. There's yellow flags as the Red Bull of Krauser gets out of the way, and Jamie F1 is just coming through the Variante Alta now, so he's coming down towards Ravazza at the moment. He's on an out lap though, so he's not going to be a time lap. You know, I think I was not quite with it today. It's been a very long day for me, but anyways, I continue on.
I was riding on board with Tier as he came through turn 1, got a bit too much on the curb and sent himself into the gravel, so not the ideal first outing for the Mercedes, who was on pole last week. Stingray is also on a lap at the moment. He's sitting in P6, which is decent for him, and Madman has come out on the softs, so this is a battle for P2 today, Zuma.
Yeah, there we go, battle for P2 indeed. I mean, LB could challenge, it depends how much practice he's had, because remember, he's on the wheel now. He was on controller last season, but he's moved over to wheel, so he has lost some of that pace. It may not look it at the moment as he sits in pole position, but I think there's plenty of time left out on circuit to be found. And remember, the track started off quite overcast, and it seems the sun's come out now, which could change track conditions out there.
That's a really good lap from Stingray. Sorry to interrupt you. Up to P3 he goes, only 2.5 tenths off of LB's time. I think when we're describing the leaderboard, I think we should maybe just sort of casually ignore Madman, because
yeah,
he's doesn't belong on pace. But as I said, he's got special permission to be a reserve. So.
Oh, there's a decent lap for Jamie F1, putting himself just 0.02 of a second away from his teammate JBS Steve at the moment, getting himself nicely into the top 10. How about QB? He's coming through down to Ravazza now at the moment. Mahiti's out. That's a shame for him. It looks like he's had a crash at the exit of the Tamburello chicane. That is a shame for him. Let's see QB as he comes along in the McLaren. I believe he should be in an Alpine. I'm not sure what's happened there. 18 Tears out as well. He's crashed at the Villeneuve chicane, I believe. It looks like. That is a shame for the Mercedes. He was looking like one of the guys to be watching tonight, toward the front of the pack, but he's ended his qualifying session prematurely.
He did say he was struggling in the Discord on this track, so yeah, he was struggling to keep his car out of the gravel. So this might not be the ideal weekend for Tier, but we'll have to see how he does. I'm sure he'll be raring to go in the race, even so, and he might be able to get himself on strategic pole if someone else beats him into the top 10 here. Madman's just coming to the end of his lap, which is inevitably going to be pole.
SW's 3 seconds up. He's just ahead. He's just up the road from Madman himself. Along comes SW then in the Alfa Romeo, looking to improve that lap time. It's going to be in the 15s. It's going to be pole provisionally for the Alfa Romeo driver. But here comes Madman Ollie Oliver. Is he going to take it? Of course he is. It's a 15-0. 2/10 of a second faster than Madman Ollie Oliver's time. The reserve takes provisional pole for the moment, but somebody might be able to come and challenge him at the minute. Is it? Oh wait, it is. It is the other way around. I'm sorry. I was looking at the times wrong. I think I still had the message up from SW, so I thought Madman had changed as well. So yeah, SW, what a lap time from him to keep Madman from taking pole position this evening.
Yeah, well, I mean, so the SW is just staying in T2, Tier 2 while his commitments demand it. Once he is available on Fridays, he'll be going up to Tier 1. So we should expect him to be well up there on pace. I think in terms of the championship, we've just got to consider anyone below the top 2 at the current stage.
TTV Max invalidates again. I think it was that Ackerman Arali ran just a little bit too deep over the curbing on the exit there, which cost him that lap time. I think Mr. J-Man is on a lap as well. Yes, he is. He's coming down toward Acrominaroli himself. I think LB's actually just ahead of him. Yes, he is. We'll carry on watching LB. He's just come through the Variante Outer, down towards Ravazza now in this Sector 3. The corners look fairly simple, but they can be quite tricky if you don't get them just right. You can lose a lot of time, like I said before. And round comes the Red Bull, looking to get the best exit possible. Doesn't really run that little bit too wide. It's looking like a really good lap from LB. Wow. It is. It's a 14.7.
Well then, that has certainly set the cat amongst the pigeons. LB into P1, disregard everything I just said. But yeah, great lap from the Red Bull. I'm sure he's very happy with that. Yeah, certainly setting his sights on the championship. JBS Steve is currently P6. Hartman is P4. He is on an outlap, so he will be going again very soon. He's just about to cross the line, actually. 4 minutes left in the session, still plenty of time.
There's certainly plenty of time for the drivers to find them out. Madman's on an improvement, actually. He's 4/10 up on this lap in particular. He's going to come across the line. This could challenge LB for provisional pole position of this session, and it does. It's a 14.6. It's not too much faster than LB's time, but it's definitely a competitive lap time that we're seeing up there. These guys, I don't know, I mean, LB, I think, might have been doing a bit of practice on that wheel, because he's definitely got faster. These are looking like Tier 1 times to me.
Well, Tier 1 pole was a 14.2, and third place was a 14.5. So, yeah, LB definitely up there with Tier 1. SW, I mean, he's done a 14.9. He would have been, let's see, he would have been about 7th or 8th in Tier 1 with that lap, and I'm sure he's going to go faster. So, yeah, I think once we get him off to Tier 1, well, I was about to say it's going to be a bit more competitive, but maybe we need to shift LB up as well, or at least make him into a reserve. But we'll see.
Yeah, certainly. So here comes Jamie F1. He's on a lap as well. I was just trying to sift through and find drivers on laps for you guys. A lot of people suffering with track violations at the moment, which is so easy to do. The track is incredibly thin around here in a lot of places, and just the commitment needed to go through these corners really pushes the limits. But Jamie F1 goes up with a 15.5. That's a decent lap time from the AlphaTauri.
Is indeed. TDV Max goes into P6. Meanwhile, that's not far off the pace at all. We've got Stingray is on a lap, I think. JBS Steve is about to start.
Femi Fussmaster not improving too much. Is that time? Sorry to cut off there, guys. So just still trying to keep sifting through and find people on laps to be watching.
Hartman is a 10th and a half up through Sector 1. He's just coming through Acqua Minerale now. How will he do through the mineral water corner? Pretty decent that was from the Williams. Up he comes up to the Sector 2 line. Where will he be? 3/10 up. So this could be challenging for P4 from Hartman. Currently only Jamie in his way, but now Stingray in his way. Stingray up to P5 with a good lap.
Very good lap from Stingray. Krause is just ahead down the road from Hartman in Williams. So we'll wait and see what's going on. Krause is looking to improve, not by too much. Hartman could see himself jump up a couple of positions. He does. He jumps up to P4, knocking Stingray and Jamie back down a place. That's a good lap from the Williams. He's really driving with some thunder in him tonight. Here comes SW way down on his time. I think he made a mistake. I think we're some 44 seconds left to qualifying. So these are the last runs, it looks like, for our drivers. So who's going to come out on top? It looks like Madman is going to be untouchable, but LB is out on an out lap right now, so he could find that time to improve. DJBS Steve invalidated as well. There's so many drivers invalidating lap times and having to go again. It's not helping them find that time because they're scrubbing those tyres even more, which means they're not going to get the full pace out of them when they're setting lap times. I think Femi Fussmaster's had enough this evening. That's going to be the end of his qualifying. As we have a look, I think LB's about to start his lap. Let's check in with Hartman, who is on a cool down lap. SW has invalidated his lap time. I think he tried to go for another one, but he's invalidated that lap. JBS Steve, let's watch JBS Steve. He'll be the next to set a lap time. He's 10th up on his previous.
Well, that was very tentative through that left-hander though. It needs to be a lot better through Aquaminerale. And that seemed alright. Maybe could have been a little bit more committed, but it seemed okay. He's a 10th and a half up as he comes up to the chicane. That was pretty committed. Good stuff from the AlphaTauri. Coming to the end of his lap, he could challenge for the top 6 here, as qualifying has now just about ended, if my screen is correct.
Yeah, it's ended on my side of the things as well. So only LB then. He's got all eyes on him. But here comes JBS Steve. Let's see if he improves. He does by 4/10, right up into P5, beating out his teammate by a 10th of a second. AlphaTauri's looking very competitive. Not just
LB is slow,
but one another. Yeah, he slowed down. That's it. That's his qualifier over. SW, is he on the lap? I think he must be. Yeah, we'll see what his time is. He's come through the Aquaminerale now, and he spins and into the wall.
Just about to say he was very committed through Aquaminerale, bit too committed. As there goes his tyre, and that will be it for his qualifying. He will remain in P3. Yeah, Madman on pole, like you would expect, and then LB actually not too far behind with SWP3. And Hartmann again with a very impressive qualifying. He was P5 last week, P4 this week. The man is definitely improving.
Yeah, he certainly is. Getting much faster on that wheel. I think he's a favourite for the win this evening, but Madman is looking very, very fast as well at the moment. So we'll wait and see what happens, but that will be the end of your qualifying session for this evening. Tommy Alex cheering on Ferrari, of course. Stop stealing our drivers. We're going to be racing with 10 people soon. I mean, we've got to try and keep it fair, I guess. Rick's happy he's still got his lap record. It's that Pobby strap. Brilliant. Madman then taking pole position at the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix for Tier 2 Season 4 with LB and SW joining him in the top 3 drivers. Hartmann and JBS Steve round off the top 5 with Jamie F1, Stingray, TTV Max, Krauser and Muhiti all rounding off the top 10. Mr. J-Man, Tier, Captain Nibs, Thrustmaster, Scott Rowley and QBVI making up the rear of the grid. It's looking like an interesting race.
Certainly is. I don't know if that flag is accurate to where Femi Thrustmaster actually lives, but that was a Cameroon flag, if I'm not mistaken. So that would be cool if it was where he actually lived. But yeah, you never know.
Never know, indeed. Rick, did you think Madman would get a lap together? SW's apparently set off 14.1 in time trial.
Yeah.
That's a very quick lap from the Alfa Romeo driver.
Yeah, but Madman, if I remember rightly, has done a 13.7. So.
Madness. I can't even get near that. I don't think I've reached the 15s in time trial. I just don't like the circuit. I don't know. Don't know what it is. Maybe it's a setup. Who knows? But anyway, we're going on for the formation lap then, and it's a good time to remind you guys, if you're watching the stream, there's 14 of you, and I'm only seeing 2 likes so far. So make sure you smash that like button and put a like out on the stream. I really do appreciate all the support. We're only a small channel here, commentating on some fairly small races, but all the support and appreciation you guys show is better. Make sure you also subscribe to the channel if you're not so already, to not miss out on any of the Tier 2 action. Hello Nisha, nice for you to join us in the chat. And it's looking like an exciting 32 laps of Imola. What do you think, Ghost?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's LB's race to lose in terms of people. Yeah, in terms of people actually in the championship. But I think Hartman is looking dangerous, actually. JBS Steve could get himself into it as well. I mean, JBS Steve only a point off LB at the moment, and this is effectively for the championship lead because Pommy Alex can't be here today, unfortunately. So I think LB on 19, JBS Steve, sorry, LB on 20, JBS Steve on 18, so it's 2 points because of the fastest lap. But yeah, Crozo might be disappointed with that qualifying, down in P9. He finished at P4 last week. He'll be hoping to repeat a good result, but he's going to find it difficult at Imola, starting as far back as that.
Yeah, certainly so. Just having a look at the tyre strategies, the top 10, of course, all on the soft compound tyre, with Scott Rowley also starting on the softs, just down there in P15, with J-Man, Tier, Nibs and QB all starting on the mediums. And if our newbie Femi Thrustmaster opted for the hard compound tyre. We'll see him go long into the race, but he will not benefit too much at the very beginning. But drivers are lining up as we've had a disqualification on the formation lap. They will get to start the race, but they just won't compete in the rest of the formation lap. We've had a little bit of contact back there.
It was right at the end of the lap. It's not too big a deal, hopefully. As we begin to get underway, I'm going to ride on board with Hartman for the start. But I'm sure we'll see the best view from your end, Sumo.
Yeah, certainly so. We've got 3, 4, 5 red lights for the Imola Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go, and it looks like a great start from LB, who's challenging the Ferrari already, but SW's also got a brilliant start as well, and he's going to look to challenge down towards the Tamburello chicane, looking like he's almost 3 wide. SW gets past LB already, who loses out quite a bit, and he's got JBS Steve all on his tail now as well. Madman manages to keep the pack behind him away. Krauser moving up a couple of positions as well. He's under threat from Hartman, who has shipped a lot of positions off the start there, as he's dropped all the way down to P8.
What an absolutely horrific start for Hartman. Absolutely terrible. He got a bad getaway and then just got unlucky in every single corner and had to ship position after position. He's down to P8, as you said. The 2 Alpha Tauris fighting over P4 as the top 3 predictably break away from the rest.
Yeah, already those guys looking really fast. JBS Steve went very deep on the exit of Acqua Minerale just there. SW looking to challenge. Krauser trying to keep Hartman behind. I think he just lost the place to Stingray, if I'm not mistaken. He had a little bit of a tussle at Tosa, just now. I'm not the only one who's done it. I'm pretty sure Zach did that a few months ago as well. But anyway, Madman set his fastest lap on the first lap of the race, and it's looking like everything's settled down quite well, but Hartman looking to go on the attack and make up for that poor start that he got. He's just 2 tenths back from Krauser. He's looking to go around the outside of the Red Bull, but the Red Bull's got the better line and keeps that Williams at bay for the moment. And he's going to have to try again, probably at the next time they come for the DRS zone. Scott Rowley and Captain Nibs in the pits. Not a great start for those guys, an unplanned pit stop for them, but Hartman is looking dangerous. He's all over the back of that Red Bull. He's trying to go left, he's trying to go right, he's filling the mirrors of Krauser's car, and he's just putting the pressure on nicely.
Captain Nibs had a drive-through for a jump start, Sumo. He's all the way at the back now, unfortunately. Scott Rowley, I'm not sure what happened to him, must have had damage. We've got yellow flags as Captain Nibs has gone for a spin, has gone from bad to worse this race today for him, unfortunately. Muhitti's had a spin as well at Acqua Minerale, so he's down to P14. I don't know if he has damage. But Tier's gotten past his teammate and is now challenging Hartman for P8. What an awful start it is for the Williams, as Tier on the mediums is challenging him now and could get himself further up the grid after a poor qualifying. Just as I say it, nearly goes for a spin, saves the car, but he's lost the place to his teammate and is now going to be under pressure from Mr. J-Man. I don't think he's going to be able to keep that place.
No, I don't think so at all. That McLaren's all over the back of him. He's lost a lot of momentum as Tier. SW is only 5 tenths off the leader. Madman, these two were teammates last season in the Williams cars. As Tier gets a 3-second penalty, he virtually went straight over the first part of the Tamburello chicane there.
That's just That's just here. Oh no, he's
Oh,
gone
he's
into the
been
wall.
and he's gone.
Oh,
I think that's going to be a safety car.
I
That's
think it
a
is.
stricken car on the exit of
VSC.
Villeneuve. VSC, really?
Wow.
Wow, I mean, Captain Nibs won't be too happy to see it's a VSC. No. It could well go to a full course caution. Well, I mean, at least full safety car, but we'll wait and see. I don't think it's going to. It would have done so by now, I think. But
yeah,
driver's having to drive at, I think it's a 40% reduced pace.
Something like that. Yeah. Captain Nibs into the pits again. Must have taken damage from that spin, or maybe we'll see him.
He did, yeah. He lost his wing completely.
Okay. I hope he continues, but I wouldn't blame him for packing it in when he gets lapped. Madman pretends to go into the pits.
I'm not sure that's allowed.
Try and fool SW. It is when they're across the dotted line, which they were just about. SW trying to stay with the Ferrari. We've got 2 drive-through penalties that Scott Rowley and Femi Thrustmaster both getting drive-throughs. Jamie F1 gets past his teammate in the meantime and is now challenging LB for P3. JBS Steve with a terrible line through turn 2 is now under pressure from Stingray, who's having a brilliant race so far.
Yeah, Stingray went for a little send at the Tamburello chicane, I think, and there was almost contact between the two. Good stuff for Stingray to avoid that contact with the AlphaTauri. But he's looking racy. But he does have Krauser and Hartmann still chasing him down. There's quite a lot of action going on within the midfield. SW is just calmly sitting behind SW at the moment, and LB's actually coming under a lot of pressure. So perhaps he's got the pace over one lap. But at the moment, I think it's consistency that's doing bringing him closer to the rest of the field, I think.
Yeah, definitely. He's dropped off from the top 2. Remember, the top 2 are technically not in the championship fight, Madman and SW. Scott Rowley has gotten a 3-second time penalty as well. That's the 3rd one of the evening. Jamie F1 still on the back of LB, but he's lost a little bit of time through that final sector.
That closing speed down the main straight. He's going to go around the outside. Madman's not going to be able to do much about it as SW takes the lead of this race as we go through the Tamburello chicane once more.
Oh, Stingray's gone for a spin. Stingray!
Stingray!
Before turn 1.
Straight in the wall as well. Is he out?
No, he's still going, but I think that's going to be rear wing damage for the Ferrari, which is going to be a huge pain for him for the rest of this race.
He's also missing his front right end plate, it looks like.
Ah, no. So, yeah, Stingray going to drop to the back. He's got damage. Mr. J-Man going to be looking to get through as soon as he can and lose as little time as possible, but yeah, disaster for the Ferrari. I'm not sure what happened. I just cut to him while he was spinning before they'd even gotten to turn 1. Maybe it was a George Russell and Valtteri Bottas kind of situation.
Yeah, perhaps. I'm not too sure. But Krauser left to just defend from Hartmann. He's not got the toe from the Ferrari that he did have. So he'll be looking to close that gap on JBS Steve. And AlphaTauri have had a very strong showing at the moment. And actually, so are the Red Bulls. All the Honda power cars are running in
Mr. J-Man's gone. Oh, that might have been contact with Stingray, maybe not realising the Ferrari had damage, which would be a shame.
Madman goes for a move on the lead. Sorry, he goes up the inside of Tamburello, he had to work a little bit more than SW did. But Madman takes the lead of this race once again from the Alfa Romeo. He's looking to come back at him into the Villeneuve chicane. Surely not. That's a very fast corner to be trying that sort of move. And thankfully, he does back out of it. I think the Thrustmaster's had a little bit of an issue. Or was that Scott Rowley? I think it was Scott Rowley looking back now. Stingray's in the pits to get that damage repaired. And SW and Madman looking very racy with one another at the moment.
Jamie F1 also looking racy with LB. He loses time in the 3rd sector but gains it all back under DRS. So if LB can get him out of that DRS range, and I think the Red Bull will pull clear, but at the moment he's just not able to do it. Although Jamie, I'm sure, will have gotten a warning for that little transgression off track at Aqua Minerale.
Scott Marshall is the sole reason that Tia is no longer in this race. He said good start from Tia in the chat, and then we clashed.
It's all Scott's fault as Hartmann gets past Crozer at the chicane. That's not a conventional overtaking place, but he's done it, the Williams, and Crozer is down to P7 as a result. Hartmann trying to get on the back of this train in front. Muhiti gets a time penalty further back. Is Jamie going to be able to make a move on LB? Yes, he is. Look at the ERS he's using. Round the outside he goes up to turn 1, and this should be a plain sailing move for the AlphaTauri. LB doesn't defend it.
Yeah, it is. It's very close between the two of them. You could see LB was more or less in the diffuser of that AlphaTauri, and now he's in between both of the AlphaTauris now. And surely JBS Steve's going to want a slice of this part at the moment. But it does mean Jamie F1's got the defending to do now. He won't have DRS coming down that main straight, and that's the real overtaking opportunity of this circuit. It's such a long DRS zone, and the closing speed is ridiculous. If you're watching the onboard stream, you'll see just how fast the drivers are approaching the backs of the other cars as Mahiti comes in for a stop. I think it's his planned pit stop, or he might have had damage. I'm not too sure actually. Mahiti did qualify in the top 10, I believe. Yeah, he qualified P10.
Max getting a time penalty. SW and Madman swap places again. SW getting past at the first left-hander at the end, but SW's gone for a spin. He's out. He's not out. He is out. He's gone.
He is out. Yeah,
right rear is gone.
Right rear even. That's a full safety car.
That
there it is.
And that's terrible timing for Madman Ollie Oliver. He's just about gotten ahead of the safety car, which is crucial for him. So he can go around. He's not going to lose too much. I think he's still going to be in the lead when he pits. As both AlphaTauris have to double stack, so that's going to lose JBS Steve a huge amount of time. I think he's going to be down behind Crozer by the end of this pit stop. Not quite, but he is behind Hartmann, so it has lost him a few places. Mr. J Man stays out on the mediums, which is probably a good decision for his personal strategy, although he is going to get swallowed up.
It certainly will. We've got to wait for the drivers to all bunch back up again at the moment. Probably Alex is perfect, just LB and Steve next to crash. Tier is annoyed with that one. I'm sure you and Scott Marshall will be able to figure that one out too.
QB has got himself a time penalty under the safety car, which is not what you want to see. 3 drivers going onto the hard tyres. I think that's the right call. They're going to be able to go all the way to the end. Mr. J-Man also getting a 3-second time penalty under the safety car, which is not what you want. Yeah, I think hards is the right call. Stingray could be back in this race after his unfortunate spin earlier on. Captain Nibs gets himself a time penalty under the safety car as well. That's the 3rd one. And yeah, Captain Nibs is having a miserable time. He's lapped, and yeah, there's not really much he can do now, except just drive to the end and get himself some points. Hopefully he doesn't die of boredom before the end of this race, as Stingray tries to let him back through. We're going to get some Codemasters safety car lapped cars shenanigans here. Mr. J-Man does eventually come into the pits now for soft tyres, which is certainly a decision that has been made in the history of Formula 1.
Yeah, it wasn't the best of decisions. You could have taken his chances, stayed on the medium tyre, but I think he started on the mediums actually. That's thrown his strategy right up into the air. It always does with an early safety car. I think when you're on the mediums, you want the safety car to come right about the time you'd want to be pitting, because then you could chuck on some soft tyres, take them out a little bit further than you would normally as well, which is always the benefit of the safety car. But Madman comfortably came out in the lead. He was about 6, 7, 8 seconds ahead when he came out of the pits. So the guys behind him have just got to all close themselves up now. This is going to doing what Rick did. I mean, I think Rick won Tier 1 around here. I don't know. I didn't watch, to be honest.
He did.
It's because I was at work. It's not because I didn't care.
Oh, Mr. J-Man nearly going for a spin under the safety car. Just about managed to save the car. He'll be glad that I caught that one on stream. Jamie F1, I think the key thing for him is going to be not trying to challenge Madman and just trying to keep with the fight with LB and not lose out, because Madman is just going to head off into the distance eventually. You're not going to be able to stop him, and he's not in the championship anyway. So I think it's important for Jamie to make some tactical decisions here of how he does the safety car restart.
Yeah, certainly. He doesn't need to challenge Madman. Madman's not in this fight. Really, he's just out there racing for fun and because he wants to race, which is absolutely fine, of course. So really, we're looking at Jamie at the moment, who's well, I guess technically going to win. Well, if it were to end right now, of course, in terms of the actual championship.
Yes.
And it's only 1 point as well. We don't, it's points, 20 points for P1, 19, 18, so on, all the way down to P20, which gets 1 point. So everybody's going to score, and of course an extra point for the fastest lap as well, which I'm not sure who holds right now. Let's have a look. Fastest lap. It's not going to tell me. It's Madman, of course.
Yeah, of course. I'm going to be right back. I'm just going to take a trip to the loo. I think the safety car will be out for one more lap as Scott Rowley joins up.
Yeah, it's just come through closer now. We're coming up to Piratello. It's a nice little corner, Piratello. A nice little left-hander. I'd say the drivers are weaving to get some warmth in the tyres. Red Bull P6, new tyres during the safety car at Imola. Where have I seen that before? Oh dear. Yeah, well, actually, for once, just thinking about it, we didn't curse here this time. You can't blame commentators curse this time, for once. But yeah, we're just waiting and watching for the safety car to get itself sorted out. I was just thinking about this the other day. How many days are we away from next year's Formula 1 game? I think, as of tomorrow, we are about a month away, I'd have said. Yes. No. 5 weeks. 5 weeks away from next year's. Sumo, spin a wheel. Curse. Oh dear.
I'm back.
Oh wait, did the safety car come in?
Yeah, it did. We're underway. It looks like
we're racing again. Madman's got. I completely missed that. I was looking at the chat, but Madman got away really, really well. I didn't even do any sort of build-up. Mr. J-Man on the attack on those soft compound tyres. He's all over the back of the Ferrari Stingray. No changes of position for the moment there. I will not be taking my eyes off the screen again. I will turn on a light though, because it's very dark in my room right now. But everybody getting away well.
Did TTV Max have a spin under the safety car?
I think he might have. I'm not sure.
He has dropped a fair few positions. He was just behind Stingray last I checked, I believe. But he's down to P10 now. Maybe he has damage, I'm not sure. Jamie F1 losing out to Madman as expected, but that is not where his battle is. We've got the Alpine of Scott Rowley has gone for a spin, so that's unfortunate for him. Femi Thrustmaster staying on the back of Muhiti for now, as well as Captain Nibs gets out the way. Trying to look for battles. TTV Max having a look at QB, but not able to make the move quite yet. QB goes a bit deep, and this is going to be the opportunity for the youngster. Down the inside he goes, and that's a simple overtake. QB's not going to defend that, and he's just going to let the Mercedes go.
Yeah, Muhiti's all over the back of QB as well. That lapped Haas car just getting itself out of the way. Hartmann all over the back of LB at the moment. These two were sure to put on quite a show for us in a minute. He's filling up the mirrors of that Red Bull, looking for a way past. Jamie F1 doing a decent job. He's sort of staying with Madman, but I wouldn't expect him to stay with him the whole way. Muhiti's got past QB now, down at the Tamburello chicane. That looked like a fairly simple pass. Tears left the session, but understandably he's not racing at the moment anymore. Scott Rowley not having the best of days. He's in the pits at the moment. It could be a retirement if he is so inclined. No, it's just a pit stop from the Alpine driver. But this battle for P2 continues on even after the safety car, but Krauser's dropped well away from it.
Yeah. Obviously, might have made a mistake at some point and dropped out of the DRS range, which is really going to hamper him. As Muhiti goes for a spin, that's his second spin at Acqua Minerale today. He is not having a good time at that corner, and down to P12 he goes. Yeah.
Got that Captain Nibs is around.
That's Femi Fussmaster as well, into the top 10 in his APPF1 debut, so hopefully he can stay there.
Yeah, hopefully so. He's not had the biggest of races to shout about at the moment, but I think J-Man is going wheel to wheel with Stingray. He is. He's already got way past. DRS hasn't even opened yet. It's those grippier medium tyres. Stingray looking to try come back at him. Not got a way through. He's on the not medium tyres. He's on the soft tyres. It's much grippier soft tyres, and I think I'll expect J-Man to pull away quickly, but he will have to pit again.
He will indeed. I'm not sure what tyres he's going to go on when he does pit. Probably the mediums to the end, but we'll have to wait and see. It depends on a safety car, of course. The top looks like Jamie LB. I'm just going to call them the top three. Ignore Madman. Jamie LB and Hartman right with each other. JBS Steve just about staying within DRS range for now, but he did drop back a little bit, as did Hartman. So if Hartman drops back, that two-way battle could, that four-way battle could become a two-way battle for the quote-unquote race lead, as Captain Nibs gets himself a penalty.
Yeah, that slowness in Sector 3 really not helping Jamie F1 at all, because LB's closed up that time, and he will make that overtake very easily. It all depends to see if Hartman can come along as well. He's closing up quick as well. This could be 2 places lost for Jamie F1. They're both looking to go around the outside. Whoa. Hartman and Jamie going very close together, but Jamie defends off and he actually gets a slightly better exit from Tamburello than LB, and he's looking to go up the inside but pulls out of it just before the Villeneuve chicane. It's a very fast corner, that one, and that's brought JBS Steve a bit closer to the back of Hartman as well, as LB has moved up into what we're going to call the actual race lead.
Yeah.
For the actual race that's being competed in, but Jamie F1 all over the back as they come up to Piratella, not quite being able to make the move. He's got Hartman on his tail as well. He's looking at Fords, and he's looking in those mirrors as well to look behind him to see those 2 cars. His teammate needs to get involved.
Here comes Jamie down the inside.
What an exit out of Acqua Minerale and down the inside. A great move, and he closes off the door. That was really great racing from the AlphaTauri.
That was fantastic. You love to see that. AlphaTauri doing really well at the moment. Trying to challenge Red Bull for the constructors once again. It was them 2 last season. It could be them 2 again. Them 2 teams rather. Crozer has dropped off still, but he's closing up a little bit as these 3 continue battling, and Jamie F1 could end up losing 2 places here. Hartman and LB with a lot of overspeed.
Yeah, here they come down toward Tamburello, both going up the inside this time. Hartman going wheel to wheel with the AlphaTauri, and he spins! No. I'm not sure if it was contact or he just touched the curb in the wrong way.
There was contact. There was contact, and I think Jamie F1 is going to find himself in the steward's room for that one. Not enough space left as Mr. J-Man spectacularly goes into the wall.
Oh, wheel to wheel through Tamburello in yellow flag conditions from TTV Max and Hartman. I just saw that as the safety cars come out for the 2nd time. That was great stuff.
Yeah, that was, I mean, a spectacular crash from Mr. J-Man. Just completely lost control of the car straight into the wall. Unfortunate day for him. But that's going to bring Scott Rowley back into the race, and Muhiti as well, after his spin. Femi Fussmaster is going to be back up to the pack, and Hartman I think is going to be relatively pleased about this safety car, but maybe not completely happy, because it means he has to stay behind TTV Max for a bit longer, and yeah, it's could end up not helping his race. Madman comes in, so he's going to drop to the back pretty much. JBS Steve also in, Crozer in as well, but LB, Jamie F1, Stingray all choosing to stay out. Stingray sticking to his strategy on the hards, and LB and Jamie on the mediums. Surely they're not going to the end. which makes this decision rather odd. We've got almost everyone else coming into the pit, so LB and Jamie might be thinking that they've made a mistake here, as Muhiti has also stayed out, which could be an error. He goes up to P4 as a result. Madman has gone down to P5, but he's on the soft tyres and will, I'm sure, carve his way straight through the field to the top again.
The Stingray well up in P3 on those hard tyres.
Yeah.
I don't know, he could definitely comfortably make it to the end on those, I think. I mean, they are line laps old. They will be very, very slippy, but you never know. You could see another repeat of China, where we see Red Bull is just in the right, not Red Bull, Ferrari is in the right place at the right time, getting a win. But of course, Madman is there lurking in the background on those soft tyres and is probably going to win this race, unless he gets involved in some contact in the next.
Or bins it. We've seen that before.
Yes, we have seen that before as well. We're at the halfway point now as well. On lap 16, coming down through sector 3 at the moment. These things are slowed down for the second time. I now get what you said, Lifebout. Lifebout wants us to get a wheel, spin that wheel, and then we talk about the person that pops up on the wheel so they get first. that is what Lifebout says we should do. I'm not sure we quite have the funding for a wheel.
Yeah. Yeah, have you seen this commentary box? Stingray comes into the pit, so he's going to drop all the way to the back. But
still tidying up after Zach. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Have you seen this commentary box? See, there's nails sticking out everywhere. It's a bit of a mess. As Captain Nibs is attempting to unlap himself, not aware of how the game treats lapped cars under a safety car.
That's another thing. That's another thing that's got to be sorted out.
Yeah, it does. It really
next
does.
year's game. It's so like, once you become lapped and a safety car comes out, you might as well just give up.
Once you've been lapped in general, you might as well give up.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that's not the case in normal F1, but as you say, normally when a safety car comes out, it gives you an opportunity, and then you can unlap yourself and get all the way back to the back of the grid. Unless it's Abu Dhabi 2021 and you're not between Lewis and Max.
It wouldn't be too hard either. All they've got to do is make the lapped cars ghosted so they can just go through.
Yeah.
Allow them to go full speed while everybody else is going slower.
Yep.
And it works. You know what I mean? Like the lap before the safety car's due to come in or something, or a couple of laps before, or just even then.
Yeah.
But I think, if you're a lapped car in the safety car pack, like poor Captain Nibs is here, you're just, you're not really racing, are you? You're still on your own. But, I mean, it's never good to give up, really, because you throw away the points at the end of the day. Yeah. And, he'll still pick himself up a solid, 8 points, something like that?
9 points.
12, 9 points. And, he can still get fast as that, too. That could be a solid 10 points. It's all about the points.
Is indeed. Safety car's
coming in. Out. Yeah, it is. It's coming in. So LB then will be your second provisional safety car as we come through Ravazza. He's got from once the safety car enters the pit lane to the line to start this race and get it back under green flag racing. We've got two Ferraris looking to chase down Jamie F1 and LB racing on the start, and off goes LB. It looks like he's caught Jamie F1 a little bit. No, he hasn't. Jamie F1's got a really good exit out of Ravazza there, and Madman getting straight past his teammate Stingray in order to get into third place and start the chase. But Jamie F1 not got enough to try and go for LB at the moment. Muhiti and QB swapping positions just a little bit further
Stingray's
back.
out.
Oh no! Stingray. He's crashed at Tamburello. I'm not sure that'll be a safety car. I think that's going to continue on, but that is a shame. The Ferrari was running a really good race, but those hard tyres, very hard to try and get warmed up. And look, LB has opened up that gap quite significantly from Jamie, who is already falling under pressure from the Ferrari of Madman, who is going to be all over the back of him within mere moments, I think. If he gets a good exit out of here, Madman could just sweep straight past him. He's not quite going to, though, I think. but on those fresh soft tyres, he's going to have a lot of pace in that car.
Yeah. Huge shame as TTV Max tries to make a move on Crozo into the chicane. It doesn't work out, but now he's under pressure from Hartmann coming into the last two corners. I don't think the American's going to go for a move quite yet. No, he's not. He's going to wait it out. But it's getting spicy towards the back of the grid as well at the front as Madman looks to make the move on Jamie F1 now.
Yeah, he does that. He's not got the DRS, but they're going to go wheel to wheel down there. It's not even wheel to wheel at this point. As Madman's got straight up ahead, Jamie's close back up to LB again. He might have had a mistake through one of the sectors in that previous lap. But Madman making quick work of the guys ahead of him. He is just so fast, is Madman Ollie Oliver.
Down the inside he goes.
Not
the
worth
hairpin.
competing too much there. They go side by side through Tosa, and LB manages to keep the Ferrari behind. These two not shy for I've lost my words. These two not shy of a battle. They're going to look to go side by side into Aqua Minerale. That is a risky move to make. That could have been race ending for both of them, but it looks like it went fairly smooth. I couldn't quite see LB.
LB down
back
again, though.
The Ferrari down the inside, side by side, through Variante Alta, and it's not quite worked out for LB, who's all over the back of this Ferrari trying to get through. I think he might have been better off letting the Ferrari go and focusing on the drivers behind him, because they're the ones he's really fighting in this championship. And I think Madman's finally got the measure on the Red Bull at the moment, as Krauser gets a 3-second time penalty.
Could be crucial. The quote-unquote top three, the only ones without time penalties at the moment. But LB is trying to make it not a quote-unquote top three as he tries to get back past Madman, but I think that will now be over. Madman just going to speed away on those softs, and LB has got to start looking behind him again. Jamie F1 is there, JBS Steve is there on the hard tyres, the much newer hard tyres, and I think if those two try and stay out to the end, they're going to have trouble towards the end of this race, and JBS Steve has got a really good chance of winning this race, actually.
Yeah, he certainly does. It's looking really good for JBS Steve, as long as he can keep Krauser at bay, who's got back into this fight thanks to the safety car. But TTV Max could see himself catch up to the back of the Red Bull as he's on the medium tyre, and he is closing quite quickly actually, so he could get involved in this fight as well. It's been a huge fight toward the front for the whole race. It's a shame it's not for the actual win. That will definitely go to Madman, who is looking untouchable. But in terms of the actual championship, LB is your current leader as it stands.
I don't know if it will definitely go to Madman, because he definitely overtook Stingray before the finish line when the safety car came in. But regardless, he set the fastest lap, expectedly. Here comes Hartmann on TTV Max, straight down the inside.
JBS Steve as well, and it's looking for some moves too. APPF1 is very close to the back of LB Racing. That was incredibly close. Between the lot of them, I couldn't quite see what happened there actually. I got quite confused for the moment. I was looking at one Red Bull, saw the other Red Bull, and I thought, what's going on here? But anyway, no position changes at the minute, but JBS Steve looking to get past his teammate.
No,
Jamie
mistake
F1 got
from
all
Jamie.
sorts of out of shape through the exit of Tosa. And Jamie F1's going to come at him up toward Piratella. They're going to go single file quite sensibly, and JBS Steve's going to be moving up a pace and looking to challenge LB now.
And now Hartmann's in the fight, as well as TTV Max. He's at the back of them as well. So less than a second between every car, between second and seventh, as Muhiti goes for his third spin of the evening at Aqua Minerale. He is really, really not enjoying that corner as QB heads past him, the stricken Alfa Romeo. But these, 6 cars, all in a line, battling it out. For P2, or basically P1.
No, this is an incredible race. I mean, who says you can't overtake Imola? It's, I'm sure Lewis Hamilton would have something to say about that, but the crowds are looking to try and make a move on Jamie F1. It's not quite going well for him at the minute. These AlphaTauris are working quite well together. They've had a few little moments where they have risked a lot of this race. They've managed to, well, what would it be? I was looking for a good word for it, but I can't cultivate for themselves. That's a good word. But AlphaTauri looking to try and win the constructors again, I suppose. But going to have a long fight with the Red Bulls for sure. As Jamie F1 got all sorts of out of shape there. Kraus is all over the back of him. He's not quite got the speed to try and challenge in towards
Steve with a penalty.
Steve with a penalty. That's not going to help him at all. He's got to try and break away now from the rest of them. He's got to try and overtake LB, but he's close enough, I think. If he can get a good exit on the second part of the Ravazza, he does, but LB comes in, followed by Jamie F1. So their race is going to continue between them, and it's going to come down to JBS Steve, Krauser, Hartmann, and TTV Max, who are all fighting it out and could comfortably go to the end of the race.
Absolutely. We've got penalties. In terms of penalties, JBS Steve on 3. Hartmann and Femi Thrustmaster also on 3, but Crozer and TTV Max on 6, as well as QB. But LB and Jamie are going to have to fight extremely hard to get themselves back into this race. They're now at the back, and that strategy call, not pitting under the safety car, I think is going to cost them big time here. But it's JBS Steve essentially in the lead, with Crozer just behind. But in terms of penalties, Hartmann is currently P2 or 3, however you want to call it. But TTV Max gets himself another penalty. He's up to 9 now.
Yeah, certainly. So I think LB and Jamie F1, what I need to do is they need to work together.
Yeah.
Try and just get themselves back into this race. If LB can punch the hole in the air ahead, let's say, and Jamie F1 can sit with him, they can certainly get themselves back up in there, but they've not got a lot of laps to do it. Just 8 laps left of this race. No, 9. 9 laps? 9, 8.
9 laps.
9 laps.
Here comes Hartmann on Crozer. Down the inside he comes up towards turn 1. Crozer with nothing to defend with. Look at that ERS. He's down to 13%. And that's after braking for turn 1. So he's used all of it up. And it's not the greatest battery management from Crozer, and that's allowed Hartmann to get ahead, and JBS Steve made a mistake into the gravel. Hartmann takes the lead of the race. Captain Nibs has retired from the race. He's crashed out of Tamburello, it looks like, so disaster for him. Is that another safety car? I can't believe it isn't, but JBS Steve is now down to P4 after that mistake just into the gravel. He was under no pressure, so that's a huge mistake from Steve.
Yeah, he'll be kicking himself for that one. That is a huge shame. But Hartmann, we said at the beginning of this race, he's looking dangerous, and here he is in the lead. As TTV Max looks like he's had a little bit of a mistake there at the exit of Aqua Minerali, which is going to make Femi Thrustmaster close up, who's doing well in the P6 there at the moment.
He is. Yeah, I'm quite impressed. He's doing really well. He's having a really good race. I mean, 6 DNFs has definitely helped him, but regardless of that, he is racing well. He's keeping it on track, unlike a lot of other drivers, and he's sitting very pretty in P6, although Jamie and LB, look how fast they are on those softs. They're going to get past QB immediately, and they're going to be heading off after Femi. 14 seconds is the gap. There's 8 laps to go, so it could be close as Jamie sets the fastest lap to prove his pace.
I've only just noticed Jamie's got ahead of LB, actually.
Yeah, he has.
Well, I guess they're going to work together, but Jamie's going to be the one to punch the hole in the air. Crowds are all over the back of Hartmann as well. He's really putting the pressure on it to reverse from the last time these two went wheel to wheel on the circuit. And Krauser, very great exit. It's those tyres that are giving him that extra bit of grip, but Hartmann goes defensive and covers off the Red Bull for now. But I think he won't have too much to say when they come down the main straight, and he may even get JBS Steve may even get involved as well.
JBS Steve definitely going to get involved. I think he's right behind the Red Bull, and Crozer is making all kinds of mistakes. He's not having an easy time on this track. He's running P3, so he's not doing too bad, but he does have 6 seconds of penalties to Steve and Hartmann's 3 each. Here comes the AlphaTauri of Steve. Is he going to make a move? No, he's not. He doesn't have any battery left. So no opportunity to make a move there. Krozo has bought some back, and Hartmann has got more than both of them combined, actually.
Yeah, certainly. So, if conserving your ERS is a very important skill to learn, and in this sport, and if you can do that, you can really try and maximise the pace. You use it tactically as well. You want to try and make sure you're using it at the right times in the right areas, just to keep your cars behind you where you need them to be, and that is of course behind you. As LB's got past Jamie F1 again. Not sure exactly how that happened. LB says purple sector 1 that time, but these two are working together fairly well to catch up. They're only 9.6 seconds away from Femi Fussmaster, but then they've got to close up even more, I think. Well, Femi's following TTV Max actually, so it's quite close. But I don't think LB and Jamie are going to get themselves back toward the front unless a safety car comes out.
Yeah, me neither. There's not enough time left for them to do that. Here comes Krozo again on Hartmann. The DRS is open. Hartmann is using the ERS, but it's not going to be enough. Look at the closing speed from the Red Bull. Down the inside he goes. They're side by side as they come through turns 1 and 2. Hartmann has to back out. JBS Steve also has to back out as we've got yellow flags. That's another spin for Muhiti at Acqua Minerale. Oh, I'm so sorry. Muhiti, I keep pointing it out. That is his 4th one of the day at that corner. He is just dreading seeing that corner every time he goes out on a new lap.
Yeah, it certainly is. It is a very tricky corner to get right, especially if you overthink it, I suppose. But Kraus have taken the lead of the race. The one Red Bull from last season that probably could have done with a bit more luck thrown his way. He had a lot of issues last season. And Hartmann slowed down a little bit there, maybe a little mistake out of Acqua Minerale. But Kraus has opened up a decent gap.
He has indeed, but the penalty situation is going to cost him. Krozo on 6, Hartmann and Steve both on 3 each. So as it stands, it's Hartmann who is leading, but without that DRS he could end up being vulnerable to JBS Steve here, as LB is now 6 seconds behind Femi with 5 laps to go. That's definitely possible as QB goes for another spin around Acqua Minerale as well. I mean, I cannot count how many drivers have spun at Acqua Minerale now. It's a very difficult corner.
Yeah, it's almost like real life F1 where they touch the white line and they went for a spin during qualifying.
Yes.
Or was it the race? Both, probably.
Hartmann right on the back of Krozo again. He's closed back up. That gap has come all the way back down. Krozo on 20%, Hartmann on 10%. So not too much difference between them. Steve on 20, so yeah, EOS is not going to be a factor in this battle, it seems.
Yeah, certainly. Hartmann used the majority of what ERS he did have to try and catch that Red Bull back up again, and it's worked, of course, but now he's got to try and get past as Femi gets another 3-second time penalty in his pursuit of TTV Max, and Hartmann looking for a way through as they come down to the Ravazza, but it's not quite going to yield any results for the moment, but it's going to be the DRS zone that gets it done. JBS Steve very close as well. This could be another three-car sprint down towards the Tamburello chicane. Hartmann looking to go on the inside, and that's a fairly easy pass for the Williams. Can the Alpha Tauri do anything about it? Looks to the outside of the Red Bull. They're going to go wheel to wheel into the corner, and JBS Steve, last of the late breakers, uses the momentum to go all the way around the outside and get the position.
Yeah, those mediums are starting to struggle, I think, as Max and Femi Flossmaster go side by side, and Femi has gone for a spin. Oh no, it was a little bit of contact. I can't really comment on it. I only just caught it at the end, so
did I.
Difficult to say, but oh dear, he's had a really good race, Femi, and I don't think he was going to finish any higher than where he was thanks to the penalties, but I think he'll be a little bit frustrated by that. Of contact, putting him down to P8, which is where I think he will stay. 3 and a little bit laps to go. in this race. Hartman still holding off JBS Steve, but for how much longer? They're both on the same tyre. Crozer is dropping off now, so it's going to be a two-way battle for the race leaders. LB gets himself a 3-second time penalty, which could be crucial as we add up the penalties at the end of the race.
Jamie's taken 3 seconds off P6 already. Wow.
Here comes JBS Steve. Down the inside of Hartman, round the outside he goes. Hartman, nothing to defend with at all. That battery is very, very empty. And Steve gets his way into the race lead. But here comes Hartman again. Is he going to make a move? Surely not. Surely he has to back out of that one. He does eventually, but he just gave JBS Steve a scare there as Steve goes a little bit deep on the exit of the next corner, and Crozer is back into this battle as a result.
Yeah, penalty situation. Only Jamie F1 doesn't have a penalty at the minute. 3 seconds for Madman, JBS Steve, Hartman, LB, 6 for Krauser, Femi Fussmaster, and QB. 9 seconds for TTV Max, and 12 just recently for Muhiti.
Absolutely, and Muhiti into the pits for a fresh set of softs. Maybe he's going to go for fastest lap here. That's going to be a very difficult job with Madman Ollie Oliver currently holding it. I don't know. Well, I'll save that thought. But JBS Steve comes through the final corner. Hartman has got the DRS but no ERS to fight with, but neither does Steve. This is going to be a straight fight all the way to turn 1. Crozer watches on as these two are going to go side by side here. Here goes the Williams down the inside of the Alpha Tauri, and that's a good move from the Williams of Hartman into second place. That lap 31 of 32, only one more real chance to overtake. This could be huge going into the last lap, but JBS Steve makes a huge mistake, and that invites Crozer down the inside at the hairpin, and that's terrible, terrible news for JBS Steve, who really wants this race win, but he just about manages to keep Crozer at bay, but that gap has come down, gone all the way up to 9/10. He needs to claw that back if he has any chance of overtaking into turn 1.
Yeah, he certainly does. These three really inseparable at the moment. I think they've been fighting away for the majority of this race, if not all of it. And JBS Steve is just falling off of Hartman. I think Hartman's trying and find a rhythm where he can get that gap, and Krauser's helping him by going on the attack as LB is going wheel to wheel with TTV Max through Variante Alto. Some contact between the three of them as Jamie F1 gets past as well. They're both past the Mercedes at the Variante Alto, and that was very tight racing between the three.
It was. I don't think there was anything wrong there, but here comes JBS Steve. He's not going to be close enough. That mistake has cost him massively at the Villeneuve chicane, and he's not able to close up to Hartman, and I think that could be the race win for Hartman, but we never know. It's still the last lap. There could be another penalty. There could be a mistake. We can't be absolutely sure, but at the moment it's all in Hartman's hands. He has one hand on that trophy as they come through the second sector of this final lap. No more battles on track other than Jamie F1 and LB, and of course Jamie without the penalty is going to get that position anyway.
Yeah, certainly so. I think Hartman might just have this. He just needs to hold it all together here through the final couple of corners. Madman Ollie Oliver may be looking at a big penalty, but he's going to win on track anyway. He's coming round round to finish the race now. As TTV Max gets another 3-second time penalty, not his day, putting him up to 12 seconds. But Hartman is going to take the win out of all of the competitors that are actually competing in Tier 2 for now. That is a great drive from the Williams driver. JBS Steve just behind with Krauser finishing 4th, but technically 3rd. LB and Jamie F1 putting quite the stint to getting themselves back up on the back end of this fight, but LB's going to lose a place to Jamie, as Jamie's the only driver who finished without a penalty.
He is indeed. That's a great drive from the Alpha Tauri. A strategical blunder between him and LB meant that they sacrificed a chance for the race win, but they've recovered pretty well up to P5 and 6, so not too many points lost, but I believe that means JBS Steve is going to be leading the championship by 1 point.
Oh, what an incredible race at Imola. There was action the whole way through, and well done to Hartmann. His first ever win here uh, over an APPF1 Tier 2. And yeah, dominant madman for sure. But it definitely does count because you are actually in the championship, Hartmann. But an incredible drive and very well done at a circuit that is difficult to race at times.
Absolutely, very tough one. Hartmann, yeah, I think it counts as a win. I don't know if I'm going to put it as a win on the standings. I think I would have needed to declare that before the championship, really, if I was going to do that, and I didn't. So, in terms of actual points, you'll get 19, but it's definitely, I would say, you can count it as a win. It is Madman who wins the race, unsurprisingly. LB sets the fastest lap, though, with a 16.2, so an extra point for him, which means him and JBS Steve are going to be level on points after the second race of the season.
Wow, an incredible race there. Madman, the reserve driver, wins the race, but Hartmann, the championship driver, will take the win technically, with JBS Steve joining those three on the podium. Krauser and Jamie F1 round off the top 5 of LB, TTV Max, Femi Fussmaster, QB and Muhiti rounding off the top 10, and the finishers is Captain Mid Stingray, Scott Rowley, Mr. J-Man, SW, and Tier unfortunately retired.
Yep, it's certainly an action-packed race at Imola, which we love to see. I think there may be a couple of things in the stewards' room, but it didn't seem too bad for what is a very difficult track. Yeah, it's a pleasure to commentate on, as always. Hopefully we can have more finishes in Austria.
Yes, hopefully so, and that's where we're heading next week, to Austria, to Spielberg, for a race around the Red Bull Ring, a circuit that always provides some great racing action, as it's so short, and it's just I think it's very good for racing. I think in general, I mean, certainly better than Imola in terms of overtaking action, but that's where we'll be heading to next week as we progress ever further into this final season of the F1 2021 game over here on the APPF1 Tier 2. And it's looking like a hell of a good season, and hopefully Pommy Alex is back to continue that streak of wins that he's definitely going to be on. Anything else, Ghost?
Well, we need to decide on a driver of the day.
Yes, we do. I'm going to give it to Hartmann. I think I think he drove really well.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with that.
Kept it level-headed, did exactly what he needed to do, and put himself in the correct place.
Yeah, absolutely. Kept his head, didn't make any mistakes. JBS Steve was cost a chance at the win with a mistake at Villeneuve, but none of that sort of stuff from Hartmann. And despite the spin earlier on in the race, remember, after the contact he had with someone, I can't remember, but he fought his way all the way back up and gets himself the symbolic race win. And 19 big points go to him. The championship is going to be, I can see it instantly, which is a lovely part of this new tool. LB and JBS Steve equal on 36 points. Hartmann on 35, Krauser on 34. So 4 drivers within 2 points at this stage. And as for the constructors, we have Red Bull on 70 points. They are looking pretty good at the moment. AlphaTauri 18 points down with 52. And then Williams a further 4 behind that. So, yeah, Red Bull with a strong start to the season, but AlphaTauri looking good. And the only reason AlphaTauri aren't up there with Red Bull at the moment is because Jamie had to miss last week. Yeah, both those teams looking strong once again for the second time in 2 seasons.
Yeah, certainly so. It's looking like a good prospect the next 6 rounds of racing But we're going to end the stream here tonight. As we've had a great race at Imola, and we're looking for a great championship to go ahead. Once again, please do go check out our sponsor, Positive Perception Media Design Products, and show them all the love and support you do over here. Make sure you've liked the stream, make sure you've subscribed to the channel if you haven't already. And to answer your question, Lifebout, of will I be there on Friday, I can confirm, as long as nothing unforeseen comes along, I will be there for Tier 1 on Friday, so that's when I'll see a lot of you next. I think it will just be me. We've got something in the pipeline perhaps. We'll wait and see. But that's going to be everything. So it's I've been Sumo.
I've been Ghost.
And we will see you this time next week for some more Tier 2 action. Goodbye for now.
Goodbye.
Another race.
Another race complete.
Oh, that's what I've got to do. I've got to bloody steward stuff. I saw it earlier today and I was like, oh yeah, I've got to do that.
Oh yeah, it's just the elite one. Because I can't vote on it because I reported it, so...
Oh dear.
It was well, I won't influence you, but I'm not gonna, you know. it was sort of a marginal thing, but I just felt like it was an important part in the race and felt hard done by, but I'm gonna head off early, mate.
Yeah, man.
Got stuff to do, so
Yes.
I'll see you on. Well, I'll hear you on Friday in the comments.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm going to see where we are on Saturday. I'll see where we are with sprints. Probably, chances are, it's not going ahead till next time. But I'll probably set up first the super sprints or community super sprints, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
What is this? Ghost Sim Grind? What is that? Let's have a look. That's Sim Grind. What's going on here? What's going on here? Imola finger. Very late defensive move. Let's have a look at this.